friends, and welcome to Costuming in Color, a YouTube show dedicated to showcasing amazing costumers of color and those that support them. Also, just so you guys know, it's Tiara Tuesday today when we're recording, hence all the tiaras.
So I'm Gigi, a cultural history buff, dabbleist, and historical costumer.
And I'm Noelle, a costumer who likes to play both sides of the historical and cosplay world.
And today we are interviewing Maria. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
But first, some house rules. The first rule of costuming in color is that you don't talk about costuming in color?
Nope. The first rule is that you do talk about it. Tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your husband, because we're interviewing everybody out here.
The second rule is that kindness matters. Aside from that, there are no rules.
So let's get into it. Maria, my first question for you is, where are you from originally?
So I am originally from Guatemala, which is in Central America, but I grew up in LA County.
And where do you live now?
LA County still.
Yeah, do you like it there?
It's okay.
It's okay. Yay. There's good
I went away
there.
for school and then I came back for work, and we'll see where life takes us later on.
Yeah.
So cosplay, historical, or both?
Both.
What is the costuming scene like where you live?
Here in Southern California, it's really busy. There's a lot of clubs. There's so many events. As a beginner, it got kind of overwhelming because there was just so many things to go to. And of course you want to go to everything, but it's a wide range of periods. So, it was like, well, I got to sew, Regency, I got to sew bustle, I got to sew, 18th century. So, but it's cool. It's nice to have an option.
Agreed. What is your internet handle and how did you choose it?
So I'm known as HistoricalGarments on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. And I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It was just clothing, like looking at historical clothing and research. But I do put in my about sections that it's also like I'll include more. So like sewing inspiration, accessories, things like that. So.
What time period or place or whatever, what is your favorite?
Both bustle eras. I know they're a bit different in them, but I like both of them. I think I love the silhouettes. Like those were what I saw first, I think, when I was younger, and it just completely made me fall in love with like historical clothing. But I think the first bustle era is way more over the top and trim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I prefer that one if I have to choose just one.
Yeah, I think you look really good in natural form too. Like that thing that happened in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be, although it's kind of mermaid dressy where you have to like waddle walk, but
yeah. Yeah, the natural. Yeah, because it's so close fitted.
It is.
Bottom too. But
I think your figure would be very flattered by that.
Yeah. What type of characters in cosplay do you gravitate towards?
Mostly comic book characters, or villains, but I don't necessarily think a lot of them are really villains or like really evil. I think they just have a bad rap sometimes, or life circumstance. So I kind of tend to go towards those.
I like that she's rationalizing.
Yeah. Everybody's the hero of their own story.
Right?
Yeah. How did you start in costuming?
Well, I came into it pretty late, and it was in my 20s. And I say late because when I started, I noticed that a lot of people had already been doing it maybe since they were teenagers, or they knew about it for a long time. But growing up, I'm a first generation Latina. And so when it was a lot of trying to be in touch with my Latin culture, my Guatemalan culture, and also figuring out American culture because, I grew up here. And so I thought historical costuming, along with like cosplaying, was something you only did for Halloween. Like I didn't know that was an option. I felt like the weird one at school when I was like, bustle dresses or whatever, right? Like what do we do that? And I was part of another club, and there was a cross post. And so that's how I found a costuming guild. And so I went to a meeting by myself, and it was just down the rabbit hole. I mean, it was so eye-opening to see that it was a thing, you know, it wasn't just like only available for like Halloween times. And so when I joined the club, it was, you know, that's when I found out about all the events, you know, like custom college or just regional events too, and that there was other clubs and that this was a thing. Like it's a thing, you know, it's a community. And so so that's why it took me a long time, but I've been an admirer for a really long time.
So what are your favorite parts of the clothing to make?
Just stitching the pieces together and wearing it. Honestly, I'm bad at pattern drafting. I hate cutting pieces, but I think a lot of it's because I have hand issues, so I hate having to cut.
Nobody likes cutting.
I just want the pieces, you know. I was like, give me all the pieces already cut. I will stitch them up. But my favorite part is actually just wearing it. And it's that like getting to wear that outfit, and even if it's like a borrowed outfit, you know, like so just wearing an outfit and being out with your friends, like that's my favorite part.
What aspects of costuming drew you to this sport? Like, why do costume?
It's really aesthetics. I want to wear the pretty dress, you know, like that's just when it boils down to it. Like it was just looking at these things that I loved as a little girl and getting to wear them, you know, like secondary is the research. I mean, I've always been a nerd, you know, and so I love going into research and being like, ooh, and this, and like, you know, I just go down the rabbit hole of, you know, sometimes I'll go online to find a post, you know, to make, or, you know, to find something to post. And then, you know, 2 hours later, I have no idea what I'm going to post on my account, but I've read about, you know, some other country's history. And, you know, like, it's just that I love that part, but it's, you know, originally it was really like the aesthetics and the looks of things. I always thought they were so much more interesting than what you were growing up with. I just connected with that clothing better. I thought it just spoke more to me. So I love it when museums have, you know, detailed shots, and because I love to learn how things are made. You know, like give me the garment guts, give me the details, just all that good stuff. I love when museums and sites do that.
So what is your favorite completed project to date?
For cosplay, I tend to dress up with my kiddo. And about 10, 11 years ago, he wanted to be Carnage. And so in keeping with theme, I went as Mystique. Just so we were in the same realm, you know, because we can't cross. So that was one of my real favorites. It wasn't that complicated to make. His was more complicated, especially like the face paint and everything. But I love that one. And then for historical, it's my 1860s ball gown.
That is a beautiful gown. Like,
yes,
that is stunning.
It's gone through a couple of layers, you know, just, it's like, I feel like it's still a work in progress, you know, like, I've had it for a couple of years, and whenever I've worn it, like I added a little extra piece, you know, a little more trim or a little, you know, like the bertha or things like that. I think that's, I don't like to remake a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So make them better.
Yeah, that's a good way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
What is the silliest thing that has ever happened to you during an event?
I think it was having to get sewn into my bodice. We were actually at costume, right? Yeah. So we were at costume college, and I was going to skip walking the red carpet because I didn't have a chance to finish my bodice. I didn't get to do the eyelets in the back, and so it was like just nothing. There was no closures in the back. And so I was helping my friends get dressed, and I told them, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm not going to go. Like, I'll still be down there and I'll take pictures and all that, like, of everybody else, but you know, I didn't get to do it. And one of my friends, she was like, what are you talking about? I'll just sew you up. And I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, who cares? Just come down with us. Like, she's like, it's going to take me like 5 minutes. I'll whip stitch you into it, you know, and like, you know, you have to walk the carpet with us and, you know, just be there with us. And I was like, okay. So that was funny. They just sewed me up, and they made me feel less self-conscious about the fact that I hadn't finished it. And then at the end of the night, I had to get cut out of the bodice. So that was really fun.
Like 50% of the costumes on that red carpet are not finished. And
yeah.
I would say at least 20% of people are sewn into their costumes, for sure. Like, nobody finishes. That's not a thing.
But I was glad they actually did it, because I thought I was just going to skip it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I should do it because, the pressure. But no, they were like, who cares? We'll sew you in. Who cares? Like, come down.
It's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. So I'm glad that they did it, that they pushed me to just wear it unfinished.
Yeah.
What is your favorite costuming memory?
I really like doing the smaller events. So like I mentioned earlier, here there's so many things that we can attend. And so I like it when we go and do like the picnic style events. And then completely opposite of that is like going to the dances, just going to like these big dances. You're still with your group of friends and everything, but it's just a different atmosphere. So those are usually my favorite. And it's just because we just get to hang out and have fun. Like, I think that's why I like the smaller ones too, because you're just hanging out. It's like really chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like it too.
Yeah.
Who's your costume crush?
Okay, so I have two. So I have Nikki Lim. I'm probably saying her last name wrong. Slim or Liam? No.
It's Liam.
It's Liam.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nikki Liam. So
remember, she's one of my good friends.
She's like I remember I found her account years ago, and her work was just amazing. It's just amazing. Like, I don't understand how. I mean, I know algorithms, whatever, right, in the Instagram, but I don't know how she doesn't have like a way bigger following.
I don't understand either.
Me neither. It just boggles me every time. And she was actually I think she might have been the first or second person like I featured in my account like a long time ago, when I was like, this girl right here, like, you guys need to know this girl because her work is just awesome.
She's also the nicest person.
She seems, I mean, I hope one day I get to hang out with her, like, that I get to go overseas and we get to dress up, and I just want to like, oh my God, I just want to like get really close to her outfits and just her, just her construction, that's what I love that. And then along with that, it's also Sophia Khan. And same thing with her, like her attention to detail, when the stuff that she does, and her construction skills, it's just, she puts so much, she doesn't skip steps. That's what it seems like to me. Like, she doesn't skip, all the stuff I skip, or like most of us might not care about, like, and it shows, and it makes such a difference when you see their finished garments. So they're amazing. They're just amazing. Sophia I've gotten to meet and like hang out with and everything. So I've gotten to see her work firsthand, and it's really gorgeous. And she always like just knocks it out. They're both like amazing.
So, do you have a playlist for sewing and crafting? And if so, like, what's your theme songs?
It really depends on my mood. I'm a huge metalhead. I've been a metalhead since middle school. Like that usually gets me in a good mood, like, it gets me in a good headspace. It like pumps me up, or if I'm just like, you get off work and you're all bleh, and you want to get to a project, you got that transition. And so I usually go with like, metal. But I love music. I love music. And so I'll jump around, sometimes I just put my music on shuffle. Like, I still have my very old iPod with a bunch of my music, and I'll just put that on shuffle. So it can go from metal to Spanish to new wave and hip hop. And just like, it's just all over the place. Like it just depends. Yeah. So I don't have like a playlist, because it's usually like, what do I feel like right now? What is this trim making me feel like? Like, what do I need to counterbalance what I'm going to do with how I need to feel?
Oh, that's a cool answer. Yeah. So who inspires you?
Anybody that can complete a project. Like, like seriously, any person that can actually finish what they set, to do. Because it's just, some people, I think, look at our hobby or job. I know this is a job for a lot of people too, but they look at what we do and they're like, oh, it's just sewing. It's easy. It's just whatever. But it's not. Any crafter, any maker will tell you, like, it takes skill, it takes work. And sometimes some things are out of our hands, like just life, it's out of our hands. And so if you can overcome whatever life's throwing at you, if you can overcome, if everything just like gets to work together and you get to finish that, I feel happy for you. And it makes me to be like, okay, like I can do this, like I could just it's going to take me a little longer, or I just need a bigger rest in between. So it inspires me to see that people just kind of like overcome things and get their projects done. Like it's like a shared happiness when people post and they're like, look, I finished my apron. Look, I got my flossing done. Like, you know, like, it's not like huge projects. It's like the little things that you get done, those steps. Like, I'm happy and I'm happy for you.
I get emotionally invested in people's projects too. Like
Me too.
I'm all about it. Like when people, I DM people who I don't even know. Like I've never even talked to before. And I'm like, I'm so emotionally invested in this. I am so happy that you finished that and it looks so good. You get it, girl.
Yeah.
Like,
and sometimes I feel weird because I was like, they don't even know me. What do they care if I care? Like,
but I can't tell you how many friends I've made because I do that.
That's why we call it a community. I mean, we really are a community. Even if you're more into cosplay or historical costuming, we understand that creative process. We understand how you feel when you complete something, and we're rooting each other on, you know?
Yeah. So everyone out there inspires me.
Well, who have you mentored or helped along the way?
So I can't really think of one like particular person. I mean, if anything, I feel like I'm always the one that needs help. So I'm always reaching out to my friends. I'm like, I don't understand this line in the pattern, or I don't know what this, you know, like, what was it? You know, like, I mean, I have less questions now than when I started, but sometimes I still feel like I'm the one that needs help. But trying to help was actually why I even started my account. You know, I didn't get into costuming until really like 5-6 years ago, and I was like doing more research, and I figured, you know, this stuff is really helping me a lot. So it's probably going to help other people too. And that's why I started my account. I was like, here's my research, or like, here's what I've been looking at. And that's why sometimes it seems random, because I'll just, you know, like I said about the events, I'm just jumping all over the place. And so I'll make the post, but that's why I like to include my sources. You know, any post I make, I'm telling you, where did I get that information from? You know, because I don't post like every single picture that's in the museum site, or I don't post everything like that. You know, I think of my account more as a starter, you know, for your research. It's like, oh, look here, like, if you really like this, well, here's where I got it from. Here's the ID. Go and, you know, look at the museum site, or go to this particular page if you want to read more about it. Or even detailed shots, because of the fact that, you know, like, I'm looking at the construction of garments. So I'll share things like that. So I'm, you know, that was my way to try to help other people in the community, like, as much help as I've gotten.
You said that you feel like you're the one that needs the help, and I was like, girl, you don't even know how many people you've helped. You've helped so many people, like, with your account.
I hope so.
You also introduce people to other people through your account, and that in itself is helpful, because even if you don't have the answer, that other person might, right? So
yeah. And I don't like to put people on the spot or whatever. So I mean, before I used to just kind of like share people and stuff like that, but now I usually just tend to ask, and I'm like, is that okay? Because I know what it feels like to, like, you know, some people don't want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah,
true.
Another thing.
I never think about that. I'm just like, look at my friend, they're awesome.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's funny, like, I mean, some people are perfectly fine with that. Like, I don't care, you know, I'd be perfectly fine. Like, you can put me on blast, I don't care. But I know that's not how everyone feels. So it's like, oh, like, or you tell me if you want. And I know some people are shy or whatever, but don't be shy in my account. Like, I've had people also message me, and they'll be like, hey, do you know about this, or you know about that? I'll be like, if I know, I'll help you. And if I don't know, then I'm like, you know, I don't know, or I think so might know better, or so-and-so's blog has something about it, stuff like that. I mean, it's harder to answer to DMs.
Yeah.
You know, so I try as much as I can to answer
I'm
questions.
a smart ass. Sometimes I'm like, my friend Google might know. Why don't you ask them?
You know, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I haven't gotten to or a question where I'm just like, really? Like,
yeah,
but I'm ready with that one though. Don't think I won't throw that one out.
So now that I've outed myself as a giant jerk, how can we be better mentors for our community?
Well, you're not a jerk, okay? We have to respect our boundaries. I think people forget that about us sometimes. Like, just when you're whatever magical number you have on your account, right?
Yeah.
People forget that we need those boundaries. So you're not a jerk. But along those lines, you know, just for the community in general, or for mentoring, you know, don't be so critical.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone is at the level that you are. Not everyone has the resources that you have, or the goals. You know, you might have been doing this for 20 years, and so you've had more time and experience, and you know, as someone that's coming into it just new, you know, and it affects how the community feels. It's like, you know, you don't want to give this vibe that, oh, the community is like picky, or, you know, like if you're not historically accurate to whatever level you decide, you know, what that means, right? Because that's I think a word that gets thrown around a lot. But
don't be a
you know,
gatekeeper.
yeah, don't just, you know, if you're share to the comfort level that you want. So, you know, if you have a little bit of knowledge, like not everyone has time, I know, to be on social media or whatever, or writing blogs or making videos, stuff like that. But, you know, I think it starts local, you know,
Yeah.
forget that it's really about the people that are around you. So, you know, if you do have constructive criticism, ask the maker before you share something. Like, don't just be like, ugh, your dress sucks, or your hemline's blah, you know, too short, too long, whatever it is, you know, like let the person know, and not in a comment either. Just say, hey, you know, is it okay if I offer some advice? If they say no, then no. You know, if you get ignored, you get ignored. But don't just be like throwing comments out there that aren't nice, that aren't wanted by the maker. Some people just want to post what they have, and let, you know, so I think if more people came at it that way, you know, it's better for the community.
I like your advice.
Yeah.
So let me ask you for some more.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to give a new costumer one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think as a new person, it's really easy to compare ourselves to what you're seeing out there, right? You're seeing people's best, because that's what most people post. It's like, this is my best angle, this is my best, you know, the outfit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important to just remember to do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't think about that silk. If you can afford polyester, then make the dress with polyester. Like, you know, my blue ball gown that I absolutely love and I'm gonna wear as much as possible, like, it's polyester. Like, I still don't buy a lot of silks. Machine sew, if you can hand sew. You know, I think that's one of the other things too, with the pressure of like, oh, I'm gonna hand sew this whole dress in a day. Like, that might be okay for some other people. You know, I mean, you see people doing it, or, you know, but everyone has their own goals. You know, buy the pattern that went on sale. I started with Joanne patterns, you know, but I understood that, or my friends helped me understand that, yes, I could buy that pattern, you know, but I was going to probably, you know, I was going to have to make some adjustments to the pattern. You know, not everyone can afford the really expensive patterns. You know, use the paper bag. Like, when you're drafting patterns, I mean, drafting and making mock-ups, it takes a lot of things. So just use what you have on hand. Like, it's okay. You know, just start wherever you are. And as your time permits, as your resources permit, then level up, you know, but don't measure yourself to some unknown internet person's standards.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't let that stop you from having fun. Because at the end of the day, for a lot of us, it's about having fun. Even though we do research and we put in the time, and we put in the work, like, it's still supposed to be fun for us. So,
yes,
you know,
Yeah.
do that.
I have a pro tip about that drafting thing that's super cheap. Go to the dollar store. Their wrapping paper has 1-inch grid on the back of it.
Oh, that's right.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all of it, so you have to check. But like, look in the tube.
Taking notes.
See if you can see it, because like, I bought a whole bunch of wrapping paper there, and it's obviously $1 a thing. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm not using this as wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of it tears easy, but just, you know, just don't put
does.
that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, just do it. Have fun. Just start wherever you are.
If you have a message of inclusivity or equity that you would like to send out to everyone, we would happily make space for that for you.
Thanks. So I think it's really important to keep in mind that, you know, it's a big world. It's been a big world for a long time, and a lot of other cultures have existed. And so, you know, we're in this great time where we're getting more access to look at fashion and culture in other countries without having to travel. You know, there's just so much information out there on the internet, and beauty and, you know, beauty standards and fashion, it's different. And so, you know, we should try not to put such a Eurocentric standard on a lot of the, you know, a lot of other things that we look at. It excludes people, you know, to sit there and be like, oh, well, that's not, you know, yes, European fashions made a big impact in other places and around the world. There are reasons for that. So let's not overlook history itself. But let's also try to have an open mind on, you know, what things are considered pretty to where they're from. You know, I mean, you don't have to consider it pretty, but you don't need to voice that either. Like, you know, it's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and cultures are different. So, you know, let's keep that in mind.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Maria. It was so lovely to get to know you a bit better today.
Thank you for having me, both of you. It's been really fun. And I like that you know, I got to get the tiara out again since it's been on lockdown for too long.
You called up and we were like, Maria, get a tiara.
Yeah. So we got it. We did it. We all have our tiaras on.
Yeah. Thank you also to our viewers for joining us today. We will leave a list of Maria's information down below so that you can go follow her on all of her platforms and give her a little love.
Thank you guys again for joining us for Tiara Tuesday. No matter what day you are watching this video, it is going to be Tuesday on this video, and you can put on your tiara too. So, last words. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you have a costumer of color that you think we should interview, please let us know about them by using the form that we leave in the description box below. Make sure to also leave a little love for Maria in the comments below. Bye, everyone. Be excellent to each other.